So I'm currently swapping out the stock alternator to put in a high output alternator. I found that when I pulled the old alternator out, the main bolt stripped. And so I had to order a replacement directly from Mazda. I did end up getting the new alternator in. I then realized when I went to hook up power to it that the well, I just wanted to double check. I didn't actually figure it out just by looking at it, but I contacted Autotech and they were extremely helpful and told me how to wire it. But what I need to do is get an ignition switched power to one of the pins, and then I need to route the main bolt off the other pin and then just disregard the existing PCM hookup plug. Decommission it, so to speak. So right now what I'm doing is I got some pretty yellow and pretty blue new wire to put to the new plug that came with the alternator that I bought, the high output alternator. So I gotta hook those up, and so that's what I'm doing right now. The first step I'm doing is I'm wiring a ignition source directly to my fuse box. So I've pulled the fuse box out. I've disconnected the main power jumper. I'm going to disconnect the clip and solder an additional ignition feed wire off of there to send over to the alternator over on the other side in there. It's hard to see, so that is what I am going to do right now. Well, it didn't exactly go the route I would have wanted to, but I spliced them together here. Hopefully that doesn't create any further issues. At least it's coming out of the main fuse box off of ignition. Let's hope I hooked it up to the right one. I guess we'll find out. I guess the next thing to do is put everything back together and test the wire for ignition or switch power. Oh yes, and also in order to get at the back of the wire and the plugs and stuff, I had to undo 3 10mm nuts that hold the fuse box in place so I could get it out and get to the back of it. So I'm gonna put all that back together and then test it for power. Yeah, that's next. Just gonna do a little recap of where this vehicle is at. It is a 2003 Mazda Protege. It is essentially a hatchback. What I'm doing is installing a 5K wolfram oxygen series. I was going to give it away, but unfortunately, based on the subwoofer giveaway and the lack of success that had in significantly boosting my subscriber count, subsequently I will be doing giveaways, but they will be after I have a more significant subscriber count, as opposed to being used as a tool to boost subscriber count, because it was miserably unsuccessful. That being said, I will still be giving away the 10-inch subwoofer as promised, and I will still be doing that on February 18th. I'm going to do another video of crate building for shipping subs, because I have in the past received subwoofers through the mail or USPS or UPS or FedEx that have arrived with shattered baskets and just in miserable condition. So I think it is a valuable thing to know how to do. If you're going to be shipping subs, you should ship them in a way that they're going to survive the trip. Anyway, that being said, back to the car. What I've done so far is right here, I've ran a 2-0 welding cable. I used copper lugs. I used shrink tube on that. It's all black. Unfortunately, I don't have any red shrink tube, and I don't really care. I'm the one wiring the car. I'm likely going to be the only person ever working on it before it goes to the junkyard. So if my color coding for wires doesn't meet your approval, then GFY, I don't care. The next thing I did was redo the ground from the battery. So this is not connected right now because I don't want to have my car standby draining anything. Again, it's another 2-0 welding cable with the copper lugs and the black shrink tube. They've been pressure clamped. I'm a cheap MF, so I just used a hammer and a piece of stainless steel to put a pressure point on the wire. Nothing is moving, despite what the manufacturers of hydraulic crimpers will tell you. They are very solid, and I have no concerns about them coming undone during operation. This wire here runs directly in behind all this crap over to the far side down there where the alternator is. Let's take a walk around there. My car is currently a tool and car audio storage bin. This will be the amp I'm hooking up. Like I said, I did mention that I would be giving it away at some point, but unfortunately the rate of return on giving things away as a promotionary tool was unsuccessful. So this will not be given away until I reach a more significant subscriber count. I'm not going to state when that's going to happen, because then people will be like, oh, is the giveaway still happening? And that's fine, because I did post a specific giveaway video of the 10-inch sub again, which will still be happening. This is the sub that will be running on 5,000 watts. It is a JMF Customs that was blown. I have subsequently replaced the voice coil with a 4-layer flat wound aluminum. It's the most expensive coil you can get in 4 layers. It should be able to take 4,000 watts. I guess we'll find out. That being said, it is a RE destroyer motor. As far as I know, it's the only 4-inch voice coil that RE ever made, and from what I've read, there's only 24 of those subs ever manufactured, which means I currently own 4% of the RE destroyer motors. It has a Cerwin-Vega Stroker TI basket. It's a very nice sub. We'll see what it can do. I'll do flex videos once everything's up and running. See if I can float anything in my windows. I have no idea what it's going to do. I have never run it at that much power. Yeah, so anyway, it's really hard to see. Actually, you can't see it at all. The alternator is down in that dark abyss there of this engine. The only way I could technically access it was from underneath the car. So basically, for the last month, I've been living under here. You can see some of my tools are still down there. That is where the alternator is. Can't see it, too dark. Anyway, I'll get a light for that. So what we're doing today, which I'm not, of course, going to video because I can't hold the camera and feed wires at the same time. I'm going to be connecting the main lead to the trunk to hook up to the wolfram amplifier. And we should be able to run it at about 4,300 watts RMS directly off the alternator, and then the primary battery up here plus the secondary battery in the trunk should be able to make up for any shortages that the alternator can't deliver. But we will see how that goes, and that will be the recap of where I'm at currently on this project. This is the power wire that I'm going to be feeding to my trunk. It is 1-0 audio cable, which is, as you can see, basically exactly the same as 2-0 welding. From my understanding, the welding cable has a better flame retardant rating. It doesn't burn, whereas the audio cable can burn. This end will be replaced. Well, actually, this will be going to the rear battery or directly into the amplifier, so this will just be taken off. It's some wiring that I got from a purchase in the past. Anyway, like I said, I'll be feeding that wire through to the trunk, hooking it up to the alternator. This is going to have this is a fuse, 300 amps. So at 300 amps, whatever 300 times 14.4 is like 4,200 watts or something. So I won't quite hit 5K, but I'm not overly concerned. I've only got a 320 amp alternator, so yeah, that's where we're going next. So that's what I got left for wire, not to install, but it's just what I have left. I did have enough to get from the alternator, or from the under the hood to the back of the car. This location in between here is where I'm intending to put the amplifier. I'm gonna have to figure out a good ground over there. 2 grounds. Damn, I can't see anything in this car. Anyway, there is currently wire running across the floor that will need to be dealt with. I don't want wire just hanging out in my car, but for now, this is what we're gonna have to do, because it's gonna be a little bit, I need a little bit more space to and you can see this is the end of the fuse holder here. So I'll put some of that wire at the beginning of this clip that was on the floor there to connect to the alternator. And then that'll run back to the rear battery. And we can figure out how I'm gonna get an extra battery back there, probably either under the seats or in behind the back seat, or because as you can see, I don't really have any room back here. Possibly do a thin bank in between the slope of the seats and the back of the box, because there's about, probably at the bottom, enough room to do a headway bank or something like that, just to get that extra little bit of juice. And I could also fit a headway bank over in this spot here, except then we'd have to run the additional like 3 to 4 feet of wire across the car to get over to the amplifier, and I want to keep all the wire runs as short as possible. So that's where we got to today.